you're just starting off your corporate career, or maybe you're changing industries and changing companies and it's giving you a little bit of anxiety, or you just want to generally get ahead and not learn things the hard way, this is probably a video I would recommend sticking around for. And the last time I made a watch this before you start your corporate career video, y'all ate it up, begged for more, and I'm here to deliver iced coffee in hand. The last video I did was like a bit more general and talked about just like everything. It was a bit of a brain dump, but this video is a little bit more targeted to the more social elements. Basically just how to be well liked at the office and what you shouldn't do in the office environment if you don't want people to, side-eye you as you walk by. Would you believe me if I told you that likability is the #1 quality and characteristic that employers look for when they're considering making a hiring decision? I know that is super unethical and strange, which is 100% true. However, there are multiple studies that have come out to prove likability is one of the most important qualities in big decisions that companies make about your future. So whether you're starting your next role or just looking to get ahead, you being well liked in the office legitimately does matter. And how do you actually become well liked, you might ask? Well, #1, you legit have to be good at your job. Nobody is going to like working with you or like you as a person if they don't perceive you to be competent. So being perceived as intelligent and on your SHIT is really important in order for you to get ahead. People who are truly likable aren't obsessed with being perceived as likable, which is a bit of a contradictory statement. But here's what I mean. You don't want to be the person who's a brown noser, who is constantly going up to people and sucking up, being super overly involved in conversations, or who on the flip side spend so much time networking they literally don't work, and you're like, dude, are you ever at your desk? You're always chit-chatting. Legitimately likable people at work do these things. They listen more than they speak. Truly, truly likable people give other people the space to shine. Only confident individuals can celebrate the wins of those around them. It's only insecure people that tear people down, which is why I'm a big believer of keeping your ass out of the gossip, because insecure people gossip. You'll never see someone who is confident and self-assured tearing down the people around them, because why would they? You need to be super polite over email, even if that person is being an asshole and pissing you off. Keeping things professional and kind is always going to serve you well in the long run. You never know when that email you send is going to accidentally get forwarded to someone else or come across the desk of someone who's really important and impactful at your company. Truly likable people take genuine invested interest in the lives of those around them. That means when you're walking into the office, say hi and smile to everyone. It doesn't mean you stop for like a 20-minute conversation. It can be as simple as, hey, how are you? Hey, how was your weekend? Like, normal small talk. When truly likable people come into the office or into a Zoom room, their eyes are open, they're looking around at everybody. Their goal is to make everybody feel seen and included. So they're smiling, they're waving, they're asking, how are you doing, as you walk through the office. And even if you don't have an explicit conversation with someone, because you're carrying yourself in this positive, warm, and open way, people are implicitly going to think, wow, that person is really kind, which is a win for you. This is a little bit sneaky, but it's fine. You're not gonna judge me because this is a safe space. But when I first start working at a company, I literally keep on my phone a list of things that people have told me about themselves. So Susie has 2 kids, they go to soccer practice. I write that down. The next time I see Susie, I say, how's soccer been with the kids? The weather's getting a lot better. And they are going to think that you are so attentive and kind and thoughtful. It's going to help your career so much. Another little hack for being a great conversationalist, which by extension makes you very well liked, is to keep to a certain theme of things that you talk about, because then you can always pull on the same questions and conversation topics without you freezing in the moment. So I tend to stick to the weather, TV, and food because it's easy and those are things that I care about. And on that same little notepad on your phone, you can write down 5 or 6 icebreaker or conversational questions that you can go back to over and over again to make sure that you're always leading and having really good conversation. It's so crazy because part of being liked at the office is you just being a really good conversationalist, and to be a good conversationalist isn't for you to be good at speaking, it's to be good at having other people speak. So asking open-ended questions and encouraging people to talk about themselves, because that's where people shine. People love talking about themselves, which leads me to, you should try to be the kind of person who uses the ear-to-mouth ratio, 2 ears, 1 mouth for a reason. Listen twice as much as you speak. Don't feel like you need to monopolize every conversation. Don't feel like you need to ask questions or say something in every single meeting. You showing up and giving other people the space to shine is going to work better than you overshining other people. And on the flip side of that, if you're somebody who is a bit more shy into themselves, give yourself permission to take up that space. You are in the room because you deserve to be. Force yourself to have one conversation with a stranger a day and say one thing in every single meeting. That is like bare minimum. You deserve to do that, and your career is going to hurt if you aren't able to take up that space. Before you go strike up a conversation with somebody, make sure you hover around their desk to make sure they're not on the phone or not about to get on the phone. It's a great rule of thumb if you're going to go chit chat with someone to say, hey, do you have a meeting in the next couple of minutes? I don't want to bug you and I just wanted to say hi. Those are things that are going to get you really far. I'm going to quickly move on from likability because we talked about it for a little bit. And I want to talk about who you need to befriend in the office to make sure that your life is a lot easier. Number one, all of the folks who lead facilities, your like executive assistants, all of the people who like put on events, the culture clubs, the employee resource groups, basically everybody who is in charge of building community at your company are going to be the most important people to connect with. They know everything that's going on, upcoming jobs, opportunities, opportunities for you to meet with executives. That's the stuff that is going to change your career, not just the stuff you're doing at your desk from 9 to 5. And most importantly, remember that nobody at work is your friend. They are all your colleagues until proven otherwise. Until you are consistently hanging out with someone outside of work and you don't talk about work when you're together, that is not your friend. Because I have seen so many people get burned, and I think I talked about this in my last video, people just getting straight up burned, thinking this person is my friend, I can trust them, yada yada. No, you can't. You can't trust anybody who has the potential to turn you into HR or tattle on you to your boss for you logging off early to go get a facial. That is not your friend until proven otherwise. And speaking of friends and people we need to pay attention to, human resources actually is your friend, in my opinion. It does depend on the company. If you work at a company that is well established and they have really good process in place, and you get the sense that they're a really values-driven company, for the most part, your human resources team is legitimately there to help make your life easier and to help make sure you're feeling supported. So don't feel shy going to your HR business partner and asking about how you can use your benefits. What does mental health look like here? If you need to talk about someone who's making you uncomfortable at work, it is okay to do that. It is literally somebody's full-time job to make sure you have the space to do that. Okay, here's a laundry list of things nobody told me about corporate work that didn't really fit into the other categories that I just feel like you need to hear, you know? No matter how small your company is, I promise you they are monitoring your Slack or your Teams, whatever system you're using for chat. So make sure you're not saying anything stupid on there, a la talking shit about your team, a la cussing really badly. I have seen people get fired, okay? The same would go for your work phone. At most companies, if you are Googling something suspicious on your work phone, if you're having suspicious conversations on your work phone, they have a right to go through that. And if it's audit season, they just might. I think it's important for you to take your job seriously, but to make sure your job doesn't make you too serious. I see this all the time, man, where people are like so obsessed with doing their job perfectly that the second they make a mistake, tailspin. Oh, we're freaking out. We're crying. We're throwing up. We feel sick because of a typo in an email. We feel sick because we made a mistake on what schedule we sent out. At the end of the day, unless you work in a hospital, no one is going to die. Everything is going to be okay. The second you relieve the pressure that you need to be perfect from yourself is the second your career will feel a lot lighter and a lot easier. Your boss is supposed to be your advocate at the company. That includes helping you get promoted, connecting you to people. Don't be too shy or too proud to ask them for support and helping you get to your next career step, even if it's not at their team. They will understand, and if they don't understand, that's a shitty boss and you need to leave them anyways. Okay, this one's a little bit controversial, but it's something that really helped me in my career. It's that I didn't spend too much time trying to get better at the things I was really bad at. And like, stay with me. It doesn't mean that I straight up did not put effort into those things, but if I spent my entire career trying to become much more robust with my data and analytics skills, I would go crazy because there's only so much I can learn. Some things just come naturally to people. Data doesn't come naturally to me. And if I picked a career or I picked projects where I really had to go deep on data every single day, I would go crazy because even if I was getting incrementally better, it's never going to come as easy to me as something like content does, or as public speaking does, or as like other things do. And it tends to be, for the most part, the things we're good at tend to be what fill us up with energy, because it's giving us that reassurance that we're qualified, and it's helping to squish that imposter syndrome. So one of the best things that I ever did was I picked jobs that I knew weren't going to be too data heavy. A little data, yeah, not too data heavy, because then I just get to do the stuff I'm really good at over and over and over again. And the return on my investment of spending a lot of time doing things I'm good at, it made me get better and then better and then better. Whereas if I kept spending time on data, I might get a little bit better, but I was never going to be a rock star. And now I'm a rock star at the stuff I'm good at and the stuff that fills me up with energy. You need to stop spending money on stupid shit on the way to work, particularly spending money on coffee, spending money on snacks, spending money on like new office wear, unless you're 100% sure that the clothes you're going to buy you can wear in real life, like on the weekends. Don't do it, because the styles and trends are going to change. What you want is going to change. And then you're going to end up like me, who at 25, all I had was like business casual clothing. And I'm like, what is this? Why do I have all this stuff? One of my favorite tips that I only started doing probably over the last 3 years was really optimizing my work calendar. So whether it's Outlook or Gmail, whatever your preferred calendar method is, but I like to now use color coding to determine dedicated work time, meeting time, personal appointments, or specific callouts and deliverables that I have. So every time I look at my work week, I know exactly how many hours a day I need to spend sourcing, doing interviews, reaching out to people, when I have certain projects that are due. All of those things are so important, because you never want to be the person where your say-do ratio is a little bit off. So it's important you're tracking those deliverables. So what do you think? Do you like this? I absolutely love just sitting down with a little cafe with you, having a little chit chat. If there are topics or things that are kind of scary for you as you're starting your corporate career, if you're transitioning careers, let me know what your questions are. I'll answer them down below, or I can even make another video about this. If you're looking for more careers content, I do have an entire careers podcast that goes live every single Sunday, The Straight Shooter Recruiter, and I'm on Instagram and TikTok. So thank you so much for hanging out, and you're gonna be great, dude. I'm not too worried about you. Very few people actually invest in themselves and take the time to absorb content like this, so that makes you a top percentage point right there. So thanks for hanging out. I'll talk to you in my next video.